taking the series lead 2-0. We are going to talk about everything in this series right now. So you know what we say? Let's talk about it. So you all saw my comments. You saw my hour-long preview about the Oilers and the Avs. I weaved, I bobbed, I showed you all the data, and all signs point to pick the Avalanche. They're the better team. And what ends up happening? The human side that is Coach Ryan D ends up getting in the way, because fool me once, I thought that about Calgary. Connor McDavid not only puts them in check, dominates them. Figured, things are happening here that have never happened in the NHL or McDavid's career before. That's true. The Colorado Avalanche are that good. That's true. That's exactly what the video pointed to in the data. But I just want to be on the ledge and be on the team. Why not? Like, this is why we play hockey. We're here for the miracle on ice. We're here for the outlier. We're here for the crazy story. We watch sports not only because we're fanatics, and I'm part of that. It is because we are here for greatness. The difference is the greatness always was the Colorado Avalanche, and MacKinnon, Makar, and the rest of that deep team prove it today. So the safety of Coach Ryan D being wooed back by Avalanche fans, come with us, one of us, stand on the safe ground. Why are you out there on the edge with the Oilers? It's one guy. Their defense, not that good. Their roster, shallow as a kiddie pool. Their goalie, on a roller coaster. Sometimes he's on the bottom, other times he's on the top. No, I'm going to stay out here with McDavid. Not only have I achieved upsetting a certain amount of the Oiler fan base for most of the year, calling them shallow as a kiddie pool, but I'm going to double down and pick the team in the finals because I believe, and I want to believe. But the Colorado Avalanche, they're just that good. And Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar, and especially Cale Makar, end up doing some incredible things tonight. Kadri's just playing hockey. He doesn't even have to live rent-free in their head. He just goes ahead and puts up points. Evander Kane with an elbow tonight. Hey, look, we're going to go ahead. We're going to talk all about that. Mike Smith loses a glove as the goal ends up going in. Josh Manson scores, looks at the bench. Is he looking at his dad? No, he's looking at someone else. There was a lot of cool storylines left in this game, but this is why the hockey gods give you 7-game series, because it's not decided in 2. They're going back to Edmonton. They're going back to Canada. They're going back to that crazy fan base. Will that end up turning the series? Oiler fans, you let me know down below. Avs fans, I already know your answer, but you let me know down below by smashing a comment. And speaking of that, all the comments you've been leaving, fantastic. All the thumbs up you've been giving me, record setting for Coach Ryan D. We really appreciate it. The Discord, it's popped off to almost 300, and we want to talk to every one of you. Oiler fans, Avs fans, join us. Let's talk hockey together. Let's watch games together. It's the way to go. This is an awesome community that we're building here. So if you're watching these videos to get some really good in-depth analysis, you're only getting 60% of the ride. The other 40% is the experience you get that the community provides well outside of just Coach Ryan D. It is massive. It's huge. It's a lot of great hockey fans. We want you to join it. Also, another way you can join the community is joining the coaches staff. That gets you right dialed in, VIP into the community. Join button down below. You can join these beauties here on my staff right now. They're progressing through. They're getting their badges. They have their own chat room. It is a lot of fun. It's a way to get priority access and to be a super fan of the show. Or you can go ahead and leave us a super thanks down below, but just watching and just putting a thumbs up. It's great. Content's always free. Lots of free ways to interact as well here too. So it is a big community. You just let us know how you want to be a part of it. It has been a wild ride for me. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at some goals. Let's talk about this game, shall we? Quick little shot on goal here on Smitty, and why I show this, because we're going to come back to his glove hand later in the game. It's a little shot that ends up just above the pad in the glove hand, and you can see here, and it left me wondering as soon as I saw this shot, a little bit of a puck bobble, puts his glove over it, and you're going, okay, no big deal, he's got it. But I was sitting there going, I think this might be a big deal. Smith has bounced back quite strongly in most games, but as soon as I see goalies being unsure and looking and hunting for pucks on bobbles like that, as opposed to just feeling the puck and being confident in their save, I start going, uh-oh, this could be one of those nights. And it kind of is, it kind of isn't. But the glove hand of Smitty tonight wasn't sure. So I think he had a little bit in his own head, but I also think the Edmonton Oilers and the team in front of him didn't help him at all. But mostly, I just think the Colorado Avalanche are that good. Another interesting thing to note before we break down goals, how about some best on best here? We talked about it. It's the heavyweight title fight. It's Makar versus McDavid. Ding, ding, ding. Little moments like this are big moments. This is like a shark patrolling the water right now. The fastest player in the world, one of the best players in the world at reading eyes, one of the best players in the world at takeaways, is staring down one of the best, if not the best defenseman in the world. So here is some best on best challenge right now. And normally it's the young buck or the young guy that ends up panicking or making a pass that ends up coughing this puck up and letting McDavid spring in on a breakaway. It doesn't matter if he's on the right side of the puck. He's got no chance. Taves has no chance to catch McDavid if Makar turns this puck over. So the question becomes, does Makar trust his skill, or does he make a mistake, or does he take the safe play? So at this point in time right now, what most players would have done is try to force this puck through the triangle that is McDavid, right, feet and stick, because you have room there and you would get that over to Taves. But the problem with it is that anytime you put a puck anywhere near Connor McDavid, he's gone. So what does Makar do? Makar waits him out. You got two guys looking at each other eye to eye right now. Makar's not looking at the puck. This is a hyper-skilled player, and he actually ends up waiting out McDavid. He goes, this is no big deal. Bye. See you later, pal. Nothing to worry about. Little plays like this, you might think, oh, yay, congrats, Coach Ryan D. Makar made a pass. Woo! No. That's huge. It's moments like this that change games, and this is why Cale Makar is so good. Cool as a cucumber, waits out McDavid, doesn't fall for it, gets it over to his partner, and trusts his own skill. He goes, I don't care who you are. I'm Cale Makar, and I know what I'm doing with this puck, and this is what I'm doing with it. And he makes the right play. That takes a lot of confidence for a young defenseman. And then after he moves this over to Taves, what happens? MacKinnon opens up, and he's gone. And what ends up happening here is Colorado will generate a shot on this play, and that all happens because of Cale Makar. So there's an offensive opportunity here that ends up occurring. You're up the ice versus a turnover in a puck in the back of your net because Makar is the best right now. Colorado turnover here leaves the puck on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' stick. It's a little bit too far in front. Hopkins is going to do a hinge pass over here to Darnell Nurse. Look, this is a very safe play by Nugent-Hopkins, and this should be a very safe play by Nurse. But look, he ends up doing a little bit of a puck fumble. Sure, it ends up getting right in near and tight on his body, but elite players practice with this all the time. Nurse is a highly skilled player. Nurse ends up fumbling that puck, and unfortunately, because of the pressure that's on it, he forces a really bad backhand here up the wall that ends up leading to the goal, instead of just being able to give it to his player. And why does that happen? Because Nurse isn't moving his feet. We picked on Nurse last game. Like I said, something is wrong with Darnell right now. He is one of the best defensemen in the NHL. He's the best defenseman on the Oilers. He's $9.25 million because he's elite. I keep bringing up the money because it's not about the money. The money signals how valuable you are to your team and to people in the NHL, and it signals your skill. The higher the amount of money, the better skill you have and the more expectations you have. So we have one of the most elite defensemen in the world not making the simplest of play. We talk it feet, head, then hands. That means when you get the puck on your stick, you move your feet first. Always move your feet first. Then you use your head. You shoulder check. You make a plan. What are you going to do? People think you make a plan before you move your feet. No, because that gets caught flat-footed. You're overthinking. Move your feet first, then move your head and make your decision, then use your hands to make a play with the puck. That's the way you want to do it. He's unfortunately using his head first and then his hands. He's not moving his feet. And when you don't move your feet, bad things happen. Bad things like a bad pass like this that end up in a turnover. And as that turnover comes through, that puck ends up coming in and it goes in on Mike Smith. That's a tough one. That's a tough turnover by Nurse. And you can see on this angle here, a really nice deflection by Arturi Lekkinen. And it ends up changing the puck just enough that Smith ends up going down into his butterfly. He is trusting his glove. This puck ends up dropping just a couple of inches and it ends up changing the angle just enough to end up beating Mike Smith. All right, forecheck time. Puck ends up coming around the boards here. You can see it down here. Darnell Nurse is going to go ahead and play with this puck. This is what we call a 2-1-2. It's you got an Avalanche here. That's one. You got an Avalanche that's going to come over here. That's two. So you have two players here. You're going to have one in the middle and you're going to have two defensemen back there. 2-1-2. Nurse ends up picking up this puck here and same thing as last time. Unfortunately, he doesn't go feet, head, hands. He goes head, hands. That's not the way you want to go. His head ends up buried down and he ends up shoveling this puck around the boards, and that would be the doom of this goal. I mean, this is just not vintage Nurse at this point. Like I said, we know he's playing some kind of hurt, but his head's down here as he picks up that puck in that far corner. And what you want to see from your defenseman here is confidence. Take 2 strides with the puck. Nurse is fast enough to win this puck battle. So go ahead, take 2 strides with the puck, tight turn near your post, start carrying up. And if you're worried about making that tight turn there, carry it around the post. Again, tight turn and start carrying the puck up. Either way, you got to start skating with this puck. You can't just shovel it around the boards. And as he shovels it around the boards, it's going to get into a little bit of trouble here. So it comes around, it makes a little bit of a bounce, and now what you end up having is a 2-on-1. But the trouble with this 2-on-1 is you don't have puck support. Your puck support needs to be on the right side of the puck. That means between the puck and the net, so anywhere over here. So you may have a 3-on-2 down below, but because of the positioning of Nurse and the rest of the Oilers here, they end up in a little bit of trouble. So you actually would want to see Nurse being the puck support here, and you would have wanted to see him ending up battling with the puck, but that's not what happens. Nurse is used to being in the hit zone or the battle zone, so he lays the bod, but because we're not on the right side of the puck, which is over here supporting it, it ends up scooting out, and this is what causes the goal. So wrong side of the puck matters. Nurse wins the battle. It's great, but you can see the fact that he has to go all the way around and pick up that puck. You're just going to cut in here, win that battle, and bump it out. So now you end up from a 3-on-2, you actually end up losing it because you're on the wrong side of the puck and out of position. The wrong guy made the hit. It shouldn't have been Nurse making the hit, but that's the way it goes. It ends up bumping out here to Kadri. Kadri's going to move it over here to Josh Manson, and as he does that, that is a cross over the Royal Road. That's a tough angle for a goalie to stop at this point in time. Nobody is in front of the net. Manson just tees up a beauty, ends up scoring, looks at the Oilers bench, to which his dad's an assistant coach on, and everybody moves on 2-0 Avs. And that's 2 tough plays by Nurse. I hate picking on a guy. I hate picking on one guy, but he had a tough game last game. He's had a tough game this game. He's had a tough series overall. So when your defensemen and your players, when you pay so much to 3 guys, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nurse, and Draisaitl's the good deal out of all of them. I mean, I still think Nurse is a fine deal when he's playing at the top of his game. McDavid, what else do you want? You got the best player in the world. But when one of those players is hurt or not in the lineup or able to perform, and that's how you rely on your roster building, you can win with big studs like that. You can do it. But when one of them ends up out, it's going to be very difficult. And I feel this entire series, and even the series before, Darnell Nurse hasn't been the same Darnell Nurse we know. So you end up losing and giving up the opportunity of depth to have players like this on your roster. And when they perform, you're in great shape. But when they don't perform, it becomes a bit of a struggle. Evander Kane is either the most unlucky player in the world or he's putting himself in tough position. I'm going to say he's the most unlucky player in the world. Unfortunately, this one hits off his shin pad again and ends up costing a goal. So that's 2 in this series for Kane. All you see here is a big hard off the glass from Landeskog. Kane ends up getting his shin pad in the way of it, sealing it off on the boards. But that allows a good bounce out here to Nazem Kadri, and he is gone on a 2-on-1. And I once heard a great professor tell me that luck is not only being in the right place at the right time, but it is having the skill and the opportunity to recognize the chance to get yourself into that place, and the skill and the opportunity in that moment to be able to take advantage of it. And that is exactly what Nazem Kadri does here. He has the skill and ability to take advantage of this moment. So yes, it's a puck bounce, but right off of Kadri's stick, and he is gonzo, baby. He's got a lot of speed. He's out. He's with Darnell Nurse here. And what you're going to end up seeing is Nurse laying down, and you're going to think I'm going to pick on Nurse for laying down. I'm not. This is the right play here. Why is this the right play, Coach Ryan D? Because you have 2 players on the same path in the high slot. So anybody in the slot here that ends up taking a shot, it's a 20% chance to score. It's a 10% chance to score when it's at the top of the circle or just outside the dots, which most 2-on-1s are for the shooter position. Most 2-on-1s have a player somewhere over here and a player somewhere over here, but that's not this 2-on-1. This is a center ice 2-on-1. So you actually do want to lay down and make the home run play here, because at the end of the day, if it crosses the Royal Road and gets over here, it's a 30% chance to score. If you let him take the shot, all he's got to do is walk in. He's got moves. He's got too many opportunities. It's still a 20% chance to score. Either way, it's too high for my liking, so you want to take the home run play, try to lay down. It doesn't work out in this man's instance. You end up going post to post on that kick save. They don't get it in. Kadri gets his 2nd point of the night at this point in time. Unbelievable job. 2nd point, 3rd point in time at this point for Kadri. What a night for Kadri. Beautiful, beautiful job here by the Avalanche. Nothing wrong with Nurse doing this on this play. Evander Kane, it's just a real tough bounce off a shin pad again. The classy Evander Kane trying to get things going here for his team, playing physical, lays a little bit of a cross check here on Cale Makar. Look, I don't even know what a cross check is anymore at this point in time. Every time there's a penalty call, no call, it questions my knowledge of hockey, and that's just the way she goes. This is playoff hockey, though. Look, you're going to try to rattle the Colorado Avalanche off their game. You're going to take the opportunity to lay a big hit on their star. That's what Kane does. I don't really have a huge problem with this play. I think some people will, but Makar is a big, tough Canadian kid, as we call him. He ends up shaking it off, puts his helmet down. He picks up the puck. He's going to make a play. He's cool as a cucumber again. Look, it's a beautiful breakout pass. But here comes Evander Kane again, and let's take a look at that elbow. This is an absolute dirty play. He ends up catching him right in the mouth. Makar would be fine, but Kane ends up hitting him high. What's funny about this is that we talked last game about Kane not finishing his checks, and we didn't say it was a bad thing. We actually said this is a sign of skill. When a player goes in here and he sees that the puck is gone, most of the time players end up turning away from it at this point in time because you got to get back in the play. You got to get back in on defense. There's nothing wrong with finishing your check. It just takes you out of position. So all I'm expecting here is that this is a legal opportunity to finish your check. You keep your shoulder in, you lay the bod clean and hard, but he doesn't. He kind of sticks that elbow out. I think he purposely just targets the head. Look, he lifts up, bang, and then he ends up punching him or pushing back on it. So to me, that tells me that's purposeful. He ends up taking a penalty on that play, but it's no big deal. Why? Because Makar stays in the game and they do exactly what you should do. Smitty loses a glove. It goes over to MacKinnon. MacKinnon ends up burying it there because the best way to beat him is to beat him on the score sheet. So I really do like that response by the Avs. And here's all my fairness to Evander Kane. You guys know how I feel about the guy. Look, I can make an entire highlight reel of Crosby, of McDavid, of Kucherov, of Ovechkin, of the greatest players in the world making similar dirty plays that Evander Kane just made there. There is a person on the Colorado Avalanche who has been suspended 1 or 2 times for similar plays like this as well. It happens in hockey. The NHL doesn't discipline it that much. So whether you like it or not, I don't get too up in arms about it. I just think he had an opportunity to lay a clean hit, and I thought that was dirty. Just the way I thought David Perron cross-checking Kadri from behind was dirty. It was a ridiculous play that didn't need to happen. Lay the bod, do what you got to do. But once again, not going to overreact regardless of the name on the back of the jersey, because I have seen way too many superstars and people that we really like play this way, because that's the way hockey goes. People don't like to talk about it. They don't like to think that everybody in the game does it. We like to talk about travesties of the game, but the reality is, unless you're the Lady Byng winner, most players who play physical, even the superstars, make plays like this. I have seen them cup check people. If you want, go into YouTube after this video. It's almost done, I promise. Go ahead and search dirtiest plays by superstars. You will see highlight reels of some of the grossest, just most behind the play crap like this. Elbows, cup checks, hits, boards, all of it from superstars in today's NHL. I don't want to say it's part of the game. I don't think it should be in the game. The penalty is assessed. We're not going to overreact. And the Avs answer back exactly as the Avs should answer back. So Oiler fans, let me know down below. Are you going to take one of these or 2 of these in Edmonton? I think if Edmonton doesn't take both at home, this is going to be a short series, 4 or 5 games. If Edmonton does take both at home, of course, we have a battle of 3. So we're going to have to see how the Oilers do in front of a home crowd with the altitude change back on the plane, back home to Alberta. But this Colorado Avalanche team looks pretty damn good. Congrats to the Avs.